So today I'm going to be talking about the soul consciousness as taught by the Brahma Kumaris. These are, like, if you think of the patriarch Abraham, Jewish, first Jew really, his son, his children that went to the eastern areas were the ones that were like Brahma. So it's kind of like the secular version of the Jewish teachings, but it's still kind of it's more like comfortable in English to talk about. So I'm going to share. It's really the Manhattan Meditation Center. So maintaining requires letting go of attachments because God exists in the incorporeal world, not the physical. Focusing on anything other than God is a body consciousness, and spiritual intoxication is the only healthy or lasting way to feel real sweetness and joy. Intoxication here, we don't mean toxic. We just mean like almost losing ourselves in it. Meditation type of states are things like what we would call a refined form of love, not like the I gotta have it kind of love. And it's equanimity, stability. Being godly is like an ocean of love, allows us to perceive the godly presence in our life. And this is kind of like we say God is chesed, God is kindness, expansion. And that's kind of like a watery quality. We can't take anything that we've acquired with our body, so we don't need to hold on. This moment again is a new fresh moment. The food we're eating, next time we eat it, we may not even like it the same way. So really the vices like ego, anger, lust, greed, attachment, fear, gossip, carelessness, laziness, insecurity, and jealousy come from forgetting who we are and depending on the physical world. Really, we're trying to often expect permanence and stability. We can carry impressions that are deep enough from a life in one body to a life when we take a new body, because God is eternally pure, unconditionally loving, only in good capabilities, and God holds that the highest refined emotional clarity and supreme knowledge is like the lighthouse for everyone. That kind of like there's like a first birth and then the ages. So like we could apply this to the whole society or to ourselves. So like the first birth is fully pure, secure, blissful, immortal, being of light, a guest in the world, playful, happy, giving, sharing, innocent, energy, virtuousness, like a sweet genius, like a god or goddess, like Hashem, God in the form, in a human form. It's like a golden age of divine paradise society. And then individually, but also collectively, we could say then there's the silver age. It's more accustomed to the physical world, gradually forgetting our soul family in our home and identifying with a me or a mine. And then we move into the iron age, which is like a negative karmic account still accumulating from the many births that do and can happen during the various ages. And the ages refer to an individual but also a societal level. So as we go into like the gold and silver was like unity, harmony, peace, and prosperity. Then we have like copper and iron, sort of. So then we have like a searching, like vices, words, illness, political divide, chaos, confusion and loss and corruption, disintegrating structures, like moving into the copper age, which had energy of possession, accumulation, and worth being dependent on that, and showing off, but a feeling like something's lost, and a seeking. And then the world religions or like religion emerges, devoting emerges, but also ignorance, desire, confusion, laziness, demands, and expectations. And then we move into the diamond age, which is like really ready for the supreme. And this is restoring the soul consciousness, a love for God and truth and simple renunciation. Cleanliness comes, and this is kind of like the we call this in Judaism the Messianic era, the Mashiach era, or like in kind of New Age terms, they call it Age of Aquarius. So the paradox, and I'm going to move into a new topic, the paradox of childhood. Holding versus letting go. Shame versus trust. Reward versus punishment. Right and wrong. Self and other. Yes and no. Nurturing and withholding. Limitation and God. Mistakes and perfection. Idealizing and devaluing. So what I'm now telling myself kind of is like welcoming confidence. I can get through this, staying off the grid, learning what kind of attention I want. I am a human being, I'm growing, I can trust the process. And then I sort of like went deeper and thought, where did the paradox for me, like some of the paradox started, and I would like did like this super deep regression, and it started with things like subconsciously feeling like my mother, who was supposed to be the source of kind of like the source of the closest thing, resource for life, became actually rotten. Like the breast milk was supposed to be comforting, but it was not good. And and even feeling like it was trying to kill me, like the very place that was supposed to be giving me nourishment. And then feeling like the physical violence to like end me, like instead of the picking me up, it was like pushing me down. And even my father too, they couldn't handle uncertainty, so my mother kind of tried to control me, even though I was supposed to be like the unpredictable in the good way, like the gift, like the surprise. So now I'm going to move into what is the final topic for today, which is called original sin. And number one, it's like an upside down world. This is a very Jewish concept. It's called Olam Sheker. It's a false world. And actually some Kabbalists say that when they got glimpses of and like signs of like the bigger picture, there was actually everything was upside down. It's not the way it looks. So earth and God being like inverted. The snake crawling on its belly is like, by man's belly, is like the foreskin, is like the place where Abraham, who I mentioned, had the covenant, which is like the first place where it's like back to back beforehand. Then it became like, now it's close to the belly, like the phallus of a man. The seed gets planted in the earth. Now is like sun and light is masculine, and matter and vessels feminine. But inside out is actually the transformer is the male, and the generator is the female, and no timing or rigidity is present in organic flow. Mitzvah for man and woman, like the bonding, the command, is not the same. But like a glove with impressions, we can still see a step out of the... Obviously, there's some background noise. It's kind of annoying, but I'm just moving forward. So like a glove with impressions, we can still see a step out of this matrix. So, for example, when we see the upside down world, upside down, we can kind of see the truth when we sort of make out like things that you wouldn't ordinarily notice unless you're paying attention to what would have been, what you might expect. It's like little impressions to step out of how everything is predictable based on these laws of this physical. It's like Kabbalah is basically saying step deeper into, or kind of take a step out of the matrix to kind of see where it doesn't quite add up, where there's loopholes, where there's space, where it's different. And in receiving feminine energy, it goes through the snake, which tried to sabotage it, now forced to swallow it forever. Still, it has its ways by making men force the feminine with violence to give even when she doesn't want to open, which is like what we call rape, but it's an energy. Then we have what seems like Mother Earth below growing. We grow on her back, like we grow on the back, and God is like above in the heaven shining. But this is like a punishment, kind of. It's like to no longer get any credit in the creation and generation, but the subsequent, like, destruction is still blamed on her. So a third of the three in the stages of existence from a human understanding of infinity. God and earth being inverted is like she's seen and treated as a numb, unfeeling material. Even our like own bodies are treated this way. Resources are exploited because of this. And this fighting back is the rise of the feminine with shuddering, aching darkness. It's like wet webs of network. And this is like kind of the matrix could hold it in place, but we could think of like a spider cold in the dark, but it's not exactly that. It's kind of like when we understand first there's like allness, then it takes vessels, and then it's like, and where the vessels break, and then it's like refined where it fits. So for example, it's like could be contained in this like web of everything could be contained, but then it's kind of like we're treating it like it's numb, but it's the most sensitive. So it's kind of like when it breaks out, it's so loud and it's so feeling. Then the second thing here is that forgetting it all in the womb. We're born after 9 months in utero, and the life is absorbing, while in utero the experience is subconscious. And there's a matrix program, or sometimes we call multiple matrices, we call them matrices, plugged in, like with like there was this movie someone sent me, it's called Existence. Another one was called The Game. I didn't really seek them out, but a friend of mine named Brittany, she had sent them to me, and it's like it's short sometimes in the glitches. This is the umbilical in the matrix, which I was describing. Like when we can take a step out, we see the impressions, like, and this is how we can get out of this like stuckness. And forgetting it all when we're born is never really never a rest. It's going through a portal, like into the time, lined up physically in the same way from one life to the next, two places at the same time. This is like remember, this is we're calling it original sin. Like, how did it get in? How does it get out? And finally, infancy needs weren't met. We can get through this. Change scaring us, going blind, it's dark, we couldn't breathe, dying in our sleep, inner child work, saying it out loud. This is called like inherited trauma. And it's even when we shame the light seeking, like they're so needy, they're so desperate, versions of us judge, right? But we all are recovering since birth, and there's like this kiss of death. And instead, we have to recognize we belong, we're protected, we're safe, and we matter. So this is like the full circle. Matter is like feminine, it's physical, but really, as we just said, the inner could be the masculine, like the transformer. But usually now we think it's the feminine, and the generator could be the feminine. So matter, like where the matter itself is in relation with like originally when they separated and something could get in, when they become united in one, that is of the three stages, from the allness, then the breaking, and then the rectification. I hope this is interesting. Wish you a beautiful day. Bye.